Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite sports betting program on YouTube. Just kidding. Love you guys. Thanks for all tuning in to TBM Sports. And we have the Saturday, March 15th college basketball picks that I'm going to be giving you guys live on the channel. Full disclosure, beware of the Ides of March, okay? This is going to be a step back day for me a little bit in terms of just dialing it back. There's a couple things I want to talk about psychology-wise, a couple things that make sense numbers-wise, and you see this slate, you get a lot of marquee games, great matchups, right? Just because it's a 1 versus 2 or a ranked top 25 matchup, a rematch, doesn't mean that you got to lay in that spot, right? Just because it's going to be the game on TV and you're out with your buddies celebrating St. Patrick's Day, you don't need action, okay? If you feel the game, go for it, right? Never tell you to bet. I'll never tell you not to bet or to bet something. I'm just giving you guys my picks and my recommendations along the way and some of my leans, all right? So we'll get into some of that. I'll talk about that in this video. We'll get into the picks and recap yesterday as well. And before we do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you all hit that subscribe button. It is completely free to do so, all right? These are free picks. All I ask is that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know what you all are betting in the comments down below, okay? So let's get into the picks. We are going to use OUTLIER to break this down. If you guys are looking to have an edge on the books, you need to be using OUTLIER. They are a partner of mine here on the channel. 7-day free trial, links down below, no questions asked. If you don't like it, you don't think it's making you a better bettor, you do not want to be using it. But for the money that I spend on daily wagers and what I'm throwing around, it's truly invaluable because it really does pay for itself when, and the smallest feature that I take advantage of is laying, say, minus 105 versus minus 110. A couple $100 in a ticket, that does make a difference over the course of the long haul, okay? So let's get into these games. I will have 3 plays that I'm giving out as official plays. However, if we were going to run the board here, I could give you guys some leans on all of these games because these are teams that really do have a resume, all right? So we have all the data points. All the information is right there in front of us. And probably something that differs from me versus other people on out here is I don't really care if I get the best of the number. It does matter, but I would rather have the movement. And if I get the closing line value, that's awesome, right? That's what we want. But a lot of times, I will tell you, it does pay to wait a little bit. And I traditionally look at these games the night before. You have to wait for the matchups to be set in stone, but I do traditionally wait a little bit. And I know it hurts me here on YouTube because I'm not getting my video out earlier. So all you guys think that I just make this stuff for filler time and, I'm doing this for the whatever you want to call it, for the money here on YouTube, it's negligible, guys. It's literally a drop in the bucket. I do this because I love it. But if you want to know why I kind of come out a little bit later is because I think it does give you an advantage here in some circumstances. So make sure you have that notification bell turned on so when my video does drop, you do get as soon as possible, okay? So let's talk about it, right? The first, we got some Ivy League going on, Princeton and Yale. This is going to be an interesting thing. Yale, for me, seems like they're always a 7.5-point favorite, okay? Traditionally, I do back Yale. Not in this one. I think they do have the opportunity to blow them out. And the nice thing about these conferences and these tournaments is desperation, right? You get heart. You get squads that need to win to get in. It's not like they got these huge NLI deals, these huge NBA contracts waiting for them. These are, post-professional kind of college athletes that really, it all comes down to this tournament. And so you get to see a different side of them in terms of competitive nature and play. It really does bring out the best in teams. And that's kind of where I'm at within Yale. They need to win this game, but so does Princeton, and I just don't know. 7.5 is kind of a big spot here, okay? Before we get rolling here, I do want to recap yesterday. First and foremost, I didn't even tell you guys, shout out to anybody who tailed the play of the day that I gave out. Little fun Friday action we had within that 3-leg moneyline parlay, taking Colorado and the Cavaliers and the Maryland Terrapins. And boy, I don't like to get outside myself betting units, but Maryland was definitely the hammer play of the day for me. And that's kind of how I treated yesterday. I played Maryland, I played North Carolina plus 7.5, and I played that parlay. So we got the, a little 2-game sweep, but it's not something that we're going to get too ahead of ourselves because there are a lot of games today, and you got to really have a short track mind. So let's take those successes and let's just roll it right into today, and not get too big headed because you really do have to grind out these units here if you do want to be successful college basketball day to day. Okay. But let's talk about it a little more so. But like I said, that was awesome watching the Avalanche kind of close that deal against the Calgary Flames. And seeing you guys on Discord really does bring me joy a lot of times in why I do this. This is exactly why, because I know a lot of you guys made a crap load of money back in that 3-leg parlay. And that's really that's why I do it. So great Friday. Let's keep it going. All right. The game that we are going to get into, though, the first bet that I want to talk about officially, Tennessee and Auburn. Okay, this is a marquee game, like I'm talking about. Great SEC clash. Doesn't mean you have to bet the game. All right, but I do think Auburn in a spot. I think 4.5. Both of these teams are in, but I think that Auburn 4.5. You can find a 4 out there. That would be the side that I'm on if I did have to bet it. Tennessee boasts one of the best, if not the best, defense in college basketball, and Auburn plays great two-way. Bruce Pearl. Look for this to be kind of a grudge match in a way, as you kind of see the season series. All right, and you see Tennessee losing to Auburn 53-51, and then Tennessee outlasting Auburn 92-84. So that's going to be one where I think that you have to kind of take in consideration. Tennessee was a 7-point favorite early, just a little bit ago, and then they were a 6.5-point dog earlier on in January. So it's a grudge match. This will be interesting to see. Obviously, there's some value with Tennessee plus 4.5. I don't know. I'm not a big Auburn guy, but I do think they get this one done. I just don't know how much motivated they are to play this game, so I'm staying away from it. But for viewership, this will be a great matchup. Okay, Scotty and the Tom Izzo-led Michigan State Spartans. This will be one that a lot of people do want to get involved on. Okay, we saw Wisconsin, outstanding performance yesterday. And, that performance kind of led a lot of people saying, I'm going to grab those points as soon as humanly possible. Not so fast. This is a lean towards the under. I'm not betting it because I do think that with how Wisconsin played offensively, if Michigan State gets the 3-ball rolling, you still have the potential for OT. This is where the sharp play would be towards the under, but I do think that eventually does catch up to you. So I do think there is a small opportunity that this goes over. So I'm going to stay away from it. And also, it's hard not to lay it with Michigan State minus 3.5. And that's kind of where I think that a lot of people are grabbing these 3.5 points with Wisconsin. But I think that Michigan State minus 3.5 would be the side that I would be on if I was going to attack this game. Okay. First official play that we got going is going to be in the Ivy League. We got Dartmouth and Cornell. All right, I want 5.5 points. I'm going to lay that with Cornell. Cornell has been one of my teams that I've been riding the course of the season. Really big fan of how they play basketball. And if you look at this, guys, 100 points at will. They can score in the 90s. Last 2 games out against Columbia and Princeton, getting over triple digits. And I think this is where they cover with ease against Dartmouth. And Dartmouth is going to be playing their hearts and souls out. 17-8 ATS does give me a little bit of pause. However, I think this is going to be a revenge spot for Cornell in a game where they have to win due to the fact that Dartmouth is going to have all the confidence in the world after beating Cornell 88-49 last time out. And that's just something where it was a dud. And sure, a lot of people look at this and be like, "Oh, Dartmouth, they took down Cornell with margin. Let's grab those 5.5 points." Not so fast. I still think this one has 100-80 potential. So give me Cornell in the big red in this spot as my first official play. Next, we're going to stay right here, locked and loaded. Memphis hosting Tulane. This is where I got a 9 in the market. Tulane plus 9 is my official play. This is one that comes down to Memphis taking 2 games from Tulane in the regular season. And these were games that were, I don't want to say not meaningless, but games where they meant less for Tulane, okay? Tulane really needs this one, okay? They need to advance. Memphis is already in, okay? And that's kind of where I think that the 9 points that you can get with Tulane is a value play. Let's just keep this one close. Maybe they don't win the game, but I don't think they get ousted by double digits. The numbers suggest it, that this game should be a little bit lower, personally, for my numbers. And 3 o'clock tip-off here on the East Coast. Tulane +9 is an official play. We can date back into kind of the matchups they had historically during the course of the regular season. You could see 68-56 in favor of Memphis and 90-78. So this was essentially an 8-point and 12-point victory for Memphis. So right there where it needs to be, that spread's at 9. I do like that. I'm sorry, they were both 12-point differences. Okay, so now we have 9 points in a game that Tulane just needs a little bit more. So I think this is going to be one where I'm not saying you're not going to get Memphis's best effort. Memphis could win this game by 25, and I'll just tip my cap, okay? But for me in this one, guys, I think Tulane needs this one a little bit more than Memphis. So as long as they come out, I think the back door's open as well. Tulane plays solid basketball. So 9 points here, I definitely see some value in the spot. So give me the green wave here, +9, all right? Couple games worth noting, of note, the Crimson Tide and the Florida Gators, right? This is one where it almost made my card. I got to lay, you almost have to lay the over with Alabama, but it's not so cut and dry as you think, right? It's 60% to the over in the last 5 or 10, over 174.5. The last time these two teams played, went sailing over the total, okay? Which we did back that bet during the regular season and cashed that ticket. But I think for me, guys, Florida is a very underrated team across the board. I think that for much success as they had, 27-4 on the season, and some of the stuff that they've been able to do within the SEC play this season, it doesn't mean a lick in the postseason, because if you lose, you're done. But I think that this is something where, as much as I like Alabama, Nate Oates, and the style of basketball they play, this is where I do lean Florida and the over in a kind of high-scoring affair, similar to the game we saw last time out, where it was a back-and-forth coin flip till we got under 2 minutes, and then Florida pulled away, going way over the total. That's kind of how I would approach it. I'm not going to give it out as official play, but that's kind of where my head's at leading up to that 3:30 tip-off between the Crimson Tide and the Gators. Michigan and Maryland, as we look into this, guys, Maryland has been my squad. Straight up, one of the most favorite offenses that we've watched this season thus far, and one of the biggest future plays that I do have is Maryland to bring home the hardware, looking to hedge out of that one if they do advance to the Final Four. But that's kind of where I would take Maryland once again, 4.5 here in this game against the Wolverines. Don't really have a clear-cut indication on the total. Would lean towards the over, but it's really just hard to get out of the way of the Maryland Terrapins here. Not a big Michigan fan. This game does change a little bit because of their twin towers they have down low. But I think from the outside, it's going to end up hurting them. So I think Michigan's going to be able to score a little bit. Maryland got some big boys too, but not 7 foot. So the Terrapins there, I still think they find their stride and they light it up from 3-point and beyond. So I think that's where the Terrapins roll in this contest. But still not an official play for me. Okay, UAB, North Texas, no real analysis needed, but I do have a lean towards UAB +3.5. I think this is more so a pick 'em. So if you're going to just play the numbers, give me 3.5 as a value play here in this conference matchup. Okay. I'm not going to get a bet with Arizona and Houston. However, I do have to tell you guys, Houston's playing outstanding right now. One of the reasons why I backed them to possibly bring home the hardware here, this has been Kelvin Sampson's, I think, best team in my personal opinion. Okay, and not only are they going to play great defense, but they are also going to get it done this year from 3-point range, right? That's been the fatal flaw. They can't come back on teams. They got to play bully ball down low, get to the rack, and play solid defense on the backside. But I think in this contest, you have to understand that Houston is shooting the 3 ball outstanding, and kind of the difference between this year's Houston's club and prior years, and why I kind of have them favored to go pretty deep and make a run into March. So if I had to bet this game too, it would be Houston -6.5, but no official play. All right. Boise State, that was a lean that I had yesterday, getting it done against New Mexico. Now they face a Colorado State team that, quite frankly, I think the the wrong team's favored, but Boise State, boy, they're playing some great basketball, so it's hard not to back the Broncos in this spot. This is a dead pick'em. I actually think Colorado State should be 1.5-point favorites, but Boise State and what they're doing right now, I'm going to stay away from this one because I think that Boise could win by 10, and I think that Colorado needs to win the game a little bit more. So there's really no edge in this one. Okay, so this is a clear-cut stay-away game, but it will be an outstanding match of talent. But the better in me wants to take Boise State, just being fully honest with you all. Okay. Next, Creighton St. John's. I think Creighton keeps this one close, but St. John's, a little bit of an exacta here. You could take St. John's, the futures ticket that I had with Maryland. I also have a couple with some SEC schools down the ladder and St. John's and a couple other Big Ten schools. So in that 30-1 range early on in the season, the Red Storm here playing outstanding. Rick Pitino this time of year, hard to fade him, but I do think Creighton gets it going offensively a little bit. So I would lean Creighton, but I just don't want to really bet against St. John's in this spot where, everybody wants them to lose. Everybody's kind of rooting against them, but I just think that this club is meant for a little bit something more. Playing outstanding basketball, too, so I would probably back St. John's, but I just think that Creighton might have the morale here in this game and need to win it a little bit more so than St. John's, so it's going to be kind of hard to handicap this one from a numbers perspective, but I would lean towards St. John's if you force me to bet this game, okay? Next, Akron and Miami. This will be my third final play of the day. I think Akron gets this one done with margin. Outstanding basketball they're playing right now in the MAC. Clear-cut the best team in that conference. Lay me the 5.5 with the Zips, where this game will be played in Cleveland. That may not make a difference, but Akron just a short drive away. I think they're going to be essentially almost a home game. As much as that stadium may or may not fill up, it's a huge stadium, but I do think that Akron definitely does have the crowd advantage if there is one. So give me the Zips here. I think this number is a little too short. I like Akron. They've covered 4 straight. And I think that they keep this one going against the Red Hawks, who may be trending a little bit in the opposite direction and need some luck in this spot. Give me the Zips. I think they get this one done with some margin at a 7:30 tip-off here for the Akron Zips here in the MAC tournament. All right. A couple other games of note outside of my plays. Mount St. Mary's, almost taking the Mount St. Mary's plus 154 money line. That is a very strong lean as well. And then probably the last game on the card that I will stay away from is Duke and Louisville. I think Duke, close game against North Carolina. Very hard to imagine Duke not covering this 5.5 number, even without Cooper Flagg for the duration of the ACC tournament. I think Duke will be motivated to kind of show the world that they're as good as advertised with and without two of their best players. So it would be hard to fade Duke at such a short price, but that's going to be where I'm at as we wrap up today's card. So appreciate it. I know this was a little bit longer video, but we have a lot of action going on. We will talk final plays here. No parlays. I might string together a little money line winner if we want to get back into that 4 or 5 territory. I might post that over in Discord a little bit later, closer to that noon. So if you do want to join that free Discord, links down below in the description. But just a quick recap of the plays. Laying 5.5 with Cornell, taking 9 with Tulane, and I'm going to drop 5.5, taking the Akron Zips to get it done against the Miami Red Hawks. Okay, so appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Not just bet responsibly, but also drink responsibly. For those of you partaking in St. Patrick's Day activities this holiday weekend, for those of you that do like to dabble into some of the nightlife out there, it's going to be a fun one. A lot of great action basketball as well, and that's kind of what we got going on. So appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.